This video is brought to you by
Cool green clothing coming straight up out of that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on now, come and show some love and show some support. Go online right now, coolgreenclothing.com, and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. In many areas around the world, people know to pretty much mind their business, stay out the way. The old saying, if it don't apply, then let it fly. Meaning, if the situation doesn't involve you or your peoples, just let it go. Because the most simplest thing is start an altercation. For example, you live in a neighborhood with a lot of activity. You come outside one day to walk to the store. You looking down, scrolling on your phone, you bump into a person. Of course, it's not on purpose. You apologize, but they don't want to hear that. Y'all go back and forth for a minute and the verbal exchange. That fast, you made an enemy that knows what block you stay on and where to catch you at. It's a sad reality that most beefs start over something petty or could have been settled in a whole different way. It just all depends on what type of individual you are or the other person is. As some feel like, I don't care what the situation is. If I feel tried or played, I'm going to react and strike. Even if it's not that serious. Their ego just won't let it slide. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will discuss a case involving a dispute on the block that led to a late night ambush. Back in 2021, Alissa Traylor was 17 years old, living in Aberdeen, Maryland, where she attended Aberdeen High School and was on her last year. For reasons unknown, the young lady sometimes went to visit a home in East Baltimore where two brothers lived at. She would be at the house in the 600 block of North Lakewood Avenue on January 22nd, 2021, just 2 days before her 18th birthday. But just a few days earlier, allegedly, the brothers aged 20 and 25, who we will call Sam and Mike, got into a verbal altercation with a 40-year-old man named Lenny Epps. Lenny's girlfriend lived on that same block, not far from where the brothers lived at. And one day, he accused one of them of flirting with his girlfriend, trying to get her attention. The argument would start with Lenny and the brothers before he turned his attention to his girlfriend, fussing her out for being too friendly and not telling the men to fall back. No one thought too much about it, as the situation eventually calmed down. But in the early morning hours of January 23rd, around 3 o'clock a.m., Sam, Mike, and Alyssa were all sleeping on the floor in the house when all of a sudden, the door bust open. A man with a gun started letting off shots. One of the brothers was hit, but was able to run out the house as the trigger man fled as well. Around 3:35 a.m., BPD was flagged down by a man who stated he was shot. He also stated his brother and a young lady was back at his home, shot as well. Police responded to the 600 block of Lakewood. They found two victims suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, a young man in stable condition and a young woman unresponsive. All three victims were transported to the hospital. The brothers were both listed in good condition, but Alyssa caught the brunt of the shots. She held on for almost a day until unfortunately she was pronounced gone just 2 days before her 18th birthday. Detectives would talk to Mike and Sam and other witnesses. One of them claimed he didn't see anything. He heard the shots and passed out. By the time he came to, it was all over. But the other brother was able to give a rundown of an argument a few days earlier and stated Lenny was the man that ran in the house. He was pointed out in a photo lineup. Detectives went to Lenny's girlfriend's house with a search warrant. She stated she hasn't seen him, but they found items belonging to him, including an ID, a debit card, and a box of bullets. About a month went by as Lenny was put on Baltimore's most wanted list before he was eventually caught and arrested. He never admitted to anything other than his girlfriend did live on that block and he visited sometimes. But the statements were enough for him to be charged with first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempt, home invasion, and handgun violations. He was held without bail. Months went by until the end of the school year came, in which Alyssa was supposed to walk that stage and graduate. Her mother would instead accept her diploma, as everyone sent their condolences on the young lady losing her life in a situation that had nothing to do with her. As court dates started coming up against Lenny, the case seemed weak. No DNA, physical evidence, everything was circumstantial. Even the brother who claimed to know the shooter changed his story, saying he was in panic mode. The other brother stuck to his story as well. The prosecution painted a picture of a man on a mission to settle a score after an argument. During the first trial, the jury couldn't reach a verdict, ending in a mistrial. The court dates kept getting pushed back. A few months later, at another court date, Lenny's attorney presented to the court body cam footage from the BPD officer who saw one of the brothers running from the home that night. Also was video footage of one of them stating he knew who the shooter might be. But since then, his story had changed. Lenny was offered a life sentence, in which him and his attorney turned down, claiming witness testimonies were all over the place, and the state was struggling to plead their case. Eventually, in May of this year, at another trial, Lenny was found guilty and convicted of all charges and faces 2 life sentences plus 100 years, as his sentencing date hasn't happened yet. Rest in peace to Alyssa. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to her mother and the rest of her family. In everyday life, small situations turn into guns coming out. If that was the case, Lenny was mad because one of the brothers tried to talk to his girl. That's petty and not about nothing. That's just what men do. See a woman they like walking and shoot their shot. I understand he might have felt disrespected, but to allegedly go this far with it is wild. That young lady had nothing to do with anything. She didn't try to holler at his girl. But it always be like that. That misplaced anger and ego usually ends in innocent victims becoming targets. With facing 2 life sentences, I wonder, was it really worth it? Now the whole block can try to talk to Shorty and more because you felt played and crashed out. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story, man. Rest in peace, that young lady. I ain't gonna talk too much more on this one. Y'all heard it. Leave it in the comments. Definitely be respectful. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's your boy Tony 2 times. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. I'm out.